So hi guys. Okay. Basically this is the first time I'm doing a live here on YouTube. Now that's a plus. That's growth. So yeah, today guys, I want us to talk about understanding stress. And if you're new here, my name is Vanessa Buyai. Karibu sana. If you've not subscribed, kindly do subscribe. I really do appreciate. And um, basically, I am a mental health advocate, and because gender and climate have a thin relationship with uh, mental health, I am also an advocate for for gender and climate action now. So karibu sana and feel at home. So the first thing that I want us to talk about today is understand what really is stress. And in layman language, stress basically is a state of worry, or it's a mental tension that has been caused because of a difficult situation. So when I say that, even before describing it, I know most of you already understand what stress it is, and you have already experienced at one particular time in your life, you've experienced stress. So basically, you know what I'm talking about. And then for stress, we have types of stresses. We have the acute stress. Acute stress basically is a short term stress that goes away quickly. For example, when you fight with your partner, that simple conflict, mnagombana, maybe you have a quarrel at 7:30 a.m. At 8 a.m., no one can even know that these two people who are walking down the street and just had a fight some minutes ago. So that is acute stress. And then for chronic stress, this is a type of stress that lasts for a very long period of time. And this type of stress is, for example, if maybe you are financially unstable, you're unemployed, you have just been told that you have a chronic disease. Those are the types of chronic stresses. And again, we have other two types of stresses. We have the positive stresses, and we have the negative stresses. The positive stresses are hi pizza, welcome. For the positive stresses, these are the types of stress that motivate you to do your day-to-day activities. For example, the stress that motivates you as a person to read because you have an exam. The type of stress, I like pizza, but I'm not talking about pizza here. Okay. We have another type of stress. That another example of the type of stress is the type of stress that basically motivates you to do something. For example, because I have a kid, I just have to wake up and go look for that job, because I have somebody who is like they are dependent on me. For the negative stress, these are the type of stresses that make you as a person not to be able to do your day to day activities. Maybe they just make you unable to have that psyche, that morale to do your day to day activities. And these examples of stresses is example after a relationship has failed, that maybe you've experienced a heartbreak. The loss of a loved one might also just make you be very stressed. um Another thing is maybe you've just lost your job and you're at home, so it's the type of stress that can really do away with your mood, that you just don't have psych to do anything. You just want to either sit there and binge eat, or you just want to sit there and sleep. You don't want to get out of that bed. You're just tired of waking up. Yeah, I think now we are on the same page. Another thing is that I want us to understand when it comes to stresses. Then, if you have these stresses, either acute stress or not acute, when you have these chronic stresses, what then can they do to your how can they affect your physical health and your mental health. When it comes to your physical health, chronic stress, especially the negative stress that I had emphasized on, it can change your sex drive. You might just not have the desire to participate in your conjugal rights as an individual. It might make you feel fatigued. The way I said earlier, you've slept the whole night, but you're waking up and you don't have the sake of getting out of that bed and perform your day-to-day activities. Another thing is you might feel as if you have headaches, and again, piled up stresses with time can also make an individual to develop other physical illnesses. For example, you might develop ulcers, you might experience heart attacks, you might even develop high blood pressure. So yeah, stress, even though sometimes we underestimate it, if not looked into, it might really have a negative repercussion to your life as a person. On your physical health, on your mental health, sorry about that. On your mental health, stress might bring about anxieties, piled up stresses, if not solved, the long term stresses, if not solved, they might bring about anxieties, and it might also develop into depression. It might make you to look for a coping mechanism, and some people might end up to start using substance use problem and substance use problems such that you're using too much of it, and as we all know, too much of something is poisonous. And then another thing, you might have sleep problems, either you sleep in a lot or you do not have sleep at all. So that is what stress can do to your physical and mental health. Again, maybe somebody might be asking, so where do people get these stresses? Maybe some people have not experienced that acute stress. We just have this we have not experienced chronic stresses. Maybe for them they only have the acute stresses, and after some minutes they've forgotten about that, they've moved on with their life. So some sources of stress, maybe your workplace, you're working in a toxic environment, an environment where your boss is away, your workmates are also just very toxic, the way they talk, the way they treat you, the amount of workload you're given by your employee, it can be very toxic. It might be very tedious for you as a person. Another source of stress is maybe recovering from a collective trauma that people have experienced. For example, during the time when we experienced COVID-19, that was a collective trauma to people worldwide, because you don't know if you're next, you don't know if your loved one is next, you don't know, is it the end of the world, or when is this thing going to end, and when are we going to get back to the normal that we were used to. So it brought about a lot of stress to people. Another thing is, if you're in a relationship, a toxic relationship to be precise, you might be very stressed. Toxic relationship where your partner is beating you up, verbally abusing you, financially abusing you. Maybe they're denying you finances to cater for your basic needs. Maybe you're in a relationship where your partner has just been diagnosed with a chronic illness, and you've been remained the sole breadwinner, plus you're the caregiver to this person. It might really be stressful. Another source of stress is unemployment, the time when you're unemployed and you need to get your finances right so that you can be able to cater for your basic needs, for your needs as a person. It can really be stressful, because at the end of the day you have to pay your rent, at the end of the day you have to buy yourself food, at the end of the day you have relatives depending on you, and you don't have a source of income, you're there unemployed. It can be really frustrating. So yeah, those are some of the sources of stresses that we have. Another thing, guys, is how I respond to stress is different from how you respond to stress. And because of these differences on how we respond to stress, I felt like it's important we discuss on stress responses, so that you can understand that the way your brother is responding to stress is different to the way you will be responding to it, and just respect that person because that is how they have been built. And the first thing is the fight stroke flight response. The fight stroke flight response, this is the type of response where if somebody is stressed, they just run away because they don't want to face whatever issue that is. They run away from that particular issue and they go seek, oh my god, I nearly fell my fan, they go seek solace elsewhere, or they just try to block whatever that is. Another thing is some people when they are stressed, they change in activity levels. If this person was very hardworking, you find that their productivity levels have gone down. Or if this person was always, a chilled person, you'll find them overworking because they just want to forget about the stress that is disturbing them. Another thing is other people, they will find difficulties communicating. You find that, yes, that thing is disturbing them in their mind, but they cannot just open up and tell people. And mostly the people who have difficulties in communicating when stressed, this thing always have affects their intimate relationships negatively, because your partner is there stressed because you're not communicating what is eating you up. And for you, you don't want to speak because maybe you feel like you'll stress them up and other chaos. So yeah, you really, if you are a person who has difficulty communicating when stressed, you really need to work on that so that it might not again affect your intimate relationships. Another thing is other people when they're stressed, you'll find that they will have change in eating habits. It's either they will be binge eating, or they will not have appetite for food. So that's another thing that we really need to look into. And then another thing is change in sleep patterns. Some people when stressed, they sleep a lot, and some people when they are stressed, they have no sleep at all. And it's good for you to recognize these things, because sometimes you might not know you're stressed. So if you've just realized that your behavioral patterns have changed and you have some of the things that I have stated, you really need to find out what is that thing that is eating you up. And now I will broaden by now categorizing the ways of you recognizing your stresses, either in the physical form, emotional form, or behavioral form. So for the physical signs that you have stress, one might be having either panic attacks, and mostly panic attacks come in because of piled up stresses because you've not solved them. After some time, your body, now the mechanism changes, now you start developing panic attacks. You might have the sleeping problems, maybe you're sleeping a lot, or you do not have sleep at all. Another issue is the issue too, you might be feeling fatigued. Either you've slept but you're waking up, you just still feel tired. You just feel fatigued, you feel everything around you is just boring. So those are some of the signs that you have to look into that will make you know that, oh, so I'm stressed. Another thing is you might be having muscle aches and headaches. And this I have experienced some time back when I was a teenager. I could have constant headaches. I could take Panadol or Maramoja. Those are the painkillers that we have in my country. And the headache wouldn't go away until I just had to sit down and reflect, like, what might be the problem with me. And the moment I solved that issue, I stopped experiencing those headaches because I was now in a calm state. Another thing is you might even develop high blood pressure because you have stress. So, and that I've said in the effects of stress to our physical health. So, yeah, you really need to learn to listen to your body, because your body is ever communicating to you. You see, the time when you're thirsty, it communicates. So, the same way, if you're stressed, if you're sick, your body communicates. And most of the time, our body communicates that you're not feeling well through us having headaches. Most of the time, if you're having headache, it's your body communicating that something is not right somewhere in the body. So learn to listen to your body and know how to solve this solution. Don't just be ignorant here. It's just headache. Learn to listen to your body. What is it communicating? Or how should I go about it? Another thing is the emotional signs that will show you that you're stressed. You'll find that you're unable to enjoy the things that always make you happy. So, it's not normal. We always have to go with the emotions. If you're angry, there's a way you're expressing. So, if you're maybe in a place where people are very happy, people are jovial, and you just find that you're off, you really need to look into it and ask yourself what might be the problem, what might be the issue, why am I like facing these things, why is this happening. Another thing is if you find that you're uninterested in life, who hates life? So if you just find that you're in that point of maybe you're starting to become uninterested in life activities, you really need to search yourself and understand where is this problem coming from and solve it. And that's where we have the psychologists, and we have free psychology. The Red Cross. I don't know if the Red Cross from other countries offer free mental health services, but for the Kenya Red Cross, they offer free mental health services. You just call the toll number 1199 for free, and you will get assistance. Another thing is if you feel you're anxious or you're nervous and you just don't understand what might be the problem, that might be a sign that your body is communicating that you are stressed. So you really need to calm down, and there is where meditation or mindfulness comes in. Just look into you and understand, try to feel like what is your body communicating, and then try to get the solution. And one of the easiest ways of you meditating is the where you just sit upright or stand calmly and breathe in, then after some 5 seconds or 10 seconds breathe out. Continue like that until the time when you feel your body is calm. Then after that, you just try to reflect through mindfulness to understand what is happening to my body, what's going on, why am I anxious, why am I nervous. If you can't find the solution, just go seek therapy. It's okay for you to go seek help. It doesn't kill. Therapy is a form of self-care, it's a form of self-love. So don't be afraid to go seek it the time when you just feel you need it. And for the behavioral symptoms that will show you that you have stress, one of them is you being unable to concentrate. Maybe you're having a conversation with someone, but they are talking, but you just hear, your ears are not perceiving anything. You just see in the mouth is moving. That it might, if at all, it's not you blocking that person. It might be stress. Another thing is you find a hard time to make a decision. And most of the time when you're stressed, that is one of the things that makes us realize that, I'm really stressed, because you are always debating between which is the perfect solution for whatever I am undergoing or for whatever I am going through. Another thing is you find that you're eating too much or you're eating too little. That might be a sign that you're stressed. And then you find that maybe you're withdrawing around people. You just want to be alone in your own space. You don't want people distracting you and all that. That might also be a sign that you are stressed. So yeah, you really need to, stress is part and parcel of our day-to-day lives, as I had said earlier. We have the positive stress and we have the negative stress. So you have to work on your resilience as a person. And the only way for you to work on your resilience is by you being self-aware. And the easiest way of you becoming fully self-aware is you mastering the Johari's window. When you master the Johari's window, you can just go Google Johari's window, Johari, Johari's window, and understand better how the Johari's window works, and it will help you to be more self-aware about yourself, and this will enable you to also establish self-compassion and self-love. And through understanding that, you'll also come up with positive coping mechanisms when it comes to stress. We have two types of coping mechanisms that people use. We have the negative coping mechanisms and we have the positive coping mechanisms. For the positive coping mechanisms, the types are like you going to speak up to a trusted person about what is stressing you up, going for exercises, going to meditate around nature, doing meditation and mindfulness. And then for the negative stressors, it's you maybe taking in, consuming a lot of substance, nini, using a lot of substance use, and you're taking in a lot. Okay, using it a little is not bad, but too much of something we all know is poisonous. So you find that you're using it a lot than you have been using, and that might have a damage to your physical health. Another thing is you might find that you are silent treating people, or you're cutting yourself, you're just doing a lot of self-harm. That is a negative form of coping mechanism when it comes to stress. So learn to be more self-aware. They have said, go look into the Johari's window. If you become more self-aware, you will know how to be more resilient. You will know how to establish your boundaries, because you will know what triggers stress in your life. The moment you're self-aware, you will know what triggers these stresses in my life, what makes it this way. And that way you will be able to, you will be able to become a better you, a better version of yourself. And that is what we are targeting for, because mental health is wealth. Mental health is everything. The moment mental health has been tampered, you find that your productivity is always affected. And with your productivity affected, that means your whole life is affected as a person. Because that's what I wanted us to talk about today, stress. And I know you've learned a lot about whatever I have talked about today. And if you have any questions, you can just drop them down there on the comment section, and we'll be able to continue talking about it. And the reason why I am really emphasizing on stress is because stress is always the primary source of some issues in our life. For example, anxieties, depression, high blood pressure, and other illnesses. They are all sourced from stress. So, and a lot of people don't know this, and because we just use in our community to be like, okay, I'm stressed. Nobody thinks that small word stress can have major repercussions on our lives. That's why I just felt like it's good for us to to talk about this topic today and understand it better. Another thing that we have to know is that, again, being mindful always helps you to to connect with your thoughts, and being mindful also enables you to connect with your emotions, and it makes you to also connect with the society at large and with the people around. So that way you also know how to become an active bystander to somebody who is stressed and they are not informed about this topic, stress. That's all that I wanted us to share today, guys. Hope you've learned something. And if you have not subscribed, kindly do subscribe. If you have any question, you can just drop it in the comment section, and I will happily give you the answer that you require. Yeah. Till next time, guys. Bye.